Hey there, thinkers! Welcome back to Critical Hit. My name is Est, and we're about to dive into the American Society of Magical Negroes disaster. So yeah, let's get into it, shall we? Looks like we've got ourselves another classic case of get woke and go broke. You know, that little delightful phenomenon where companies decide to shove their agendas down our throats only to end up eating humble pie when their wallets start shrinking? It's like watching a slow motion train wreck. The American Society of Magical Negroes is sinking faster than a lead balloon. I mean, seriously, barely scraping together a measly $1 million during the opening weekend. That's gotta sting. And hey, while we're at it, let's throw a snarky jab at the most dangerous creature out there: white people. Well, according to some. Anywho, the irony is almost too delicious to handle. The grand spectacle of the Black Hogwarts movie crashing and burning faster than a paper airplane in a hurricane, and the irony of a film preaching about the evils of one group only to find itself on the receiving end of a colossal flop. I mean, seriously, who would have thought it would tank this hard? It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, except with more popcorn and less sympathy. And would you look at that box office figure? $1 million. I mean, I have seen lemonade stands rank in more cash, but hey, I guess that's what happens when you try to shove a divisive agenda down people's throats. So here's to the world taking a step towards sanity. So, the American Society of Magical Negroes is a supposed comedy brought to you by the geniuses over at Focus Features and helmed by the illustrious Kobe Levy. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. It's a colossal financial dumpster fire waiting to happen. I mean, who could have predicted that a movie with such a tasteful title would flop harder than a fish out of water? Let me drop a truth bomb on you real quick, thinkers. It's downright hilarious that some people out there are trying to compare Harry frickin' Potter to this train wreck. I mean, seriously, that's like comparing a gourmet steak dinner to a soggy PB&J sandwich. Harry Potter, whether you like it or not, isn't some vanilla white fantasy. But even if you want to live in that delusional world, let's break it down. We're talking about an epic saga spanning around 7 books, delivering a hero's journey on a silver platter, tying up loose ends like a pro, and giving us a fantasy tale for the ages. And then there's this hot mess, peddling the same old tired narrative of white man bad. Spare me the insult to my intelligence, please. And now we're presented with this dumpster fire of a movie, where the plot boils down to a kindergarten level mantra of white man bad. Seriously, can you even fathom the mind-numbing lack of imagination required to turn out such drivel? It's like trying to compare a Picasso masterpiece to a finger painting done by a toddler with a runny nose. The tragedy of it all. If this is what passes for creativity in the realm of Black Hogwarts, then we're all doomed to drown in the sea of mediocrity. It's enough to make you want to weep for what passes for entertainment nowadays. According to the fine people over at The Numbers, the Justice Smith-led debacle managed to scrape together a pitiful $1.3 million during its opening weekend, spreading its misery across a measly 1,147 theaters nationwide. Let's put that into perspective, shall we? That's like a fraction of the theaters that most MCU blockbusters graced us with their presence. As for the production budget, well, that's a closely guarded secret. But judged by the laughable figures, it's safe to assume they blew through a hefty sum. But hey, who's surprised? It's certainly not me. It's just another day, another flop in the grand circus of Hollywood. Let's break down this spectacular nosedive, shall we? Brace yourselves for a roller coaster of disappointment, because on Friday, a meager $524,000, Saturday, a pitiful $469,000, and Sunday, oh my gosh, on Sunday, with a laughable $310,000. Talk about a free fall from grace, a whopping 34% drop in just 3 days. And that's why I call it a crash landing. Holy cow. It's like watching a sinking ship hit every iceberg on the way down. Good luck explaining that one to the investors. I have been on a wild goose chase, trying to uncover the budget for this cinematic catastrophe. And let me tell you, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But why the secrecy? Well, it's crystal clear they dumped a truckload of cash into the sinking ship, and they're desperate to keep us plebs from waving the red flag of failure. But let's call a spade, shall we? There's no way they skimped out on spending less than $20 million on this debacle. And that's scraping the bottom of the barrel. And don't even get me started on the marketing costs. This train wreck is set to obliterate any semblance of profitability. And we're just all along for the ride. Let's face it, thinkers. This is a disaster waiting to happen, and no amount of smoke and mirrors can hide that fact. Let's just take a little stroll through the graveyard of cinematic dreams. Embrace yourself for the horror show that is the American Society of Magical Negroes. On Rotten Tomatoes, critics are tearing it to shreds with just a 30% score, while audiences are faring much better score at a mediocre 59%. And over at Metacritic, yikes, that's like watching a car crash in slow motion. A pitiful 5.2 out of 10 from the critics, and a jaw-dropping 0.5 out of 10 from the poor souls who actually wasted their time watching this dumpster fire. I mean, seriously, 0.5 out of 10. That's not just bad thinkers, that's history's worst kind of bad. And don't even get me started on the director's delusions of grandeur. Apparently, he is not concerned with us mere mortals not grasping the profound message he's trying to shove down our throats. Oh, how noble of him to remain blissfully ignorant on the face of his utter failure. Truly a master of denial. Let's break down this profound message of this cinematic masterpiece, shall we? According to the Brainiacs, the American Society of Magical Negroes, the takeaway is crystal clear. White people are the epitome of evil incarnate. Yeah, you heard that right. That's the grand revelation that this hot mess of a movie is peddling. It's like they took a sledgehammer to subtlety and just went full steam ahead to the white people bad narrative. Oh, but don't worry, because the director got some pearls of wisdom to drop on us mere mortals. When asked if he was worried that folks might not catch on to the whole magical Negro trope, he brushes it off like it's no big deal. Because, you know, we're all supposed to magically understand this, right? It's like Spike Lee's secret handshake or something. And let's not forget the director's attempt at sounding profound about the whole learning to be seen spiel. Oh, how touching. But let's call a spade, shall we? This movie isn't about enlightenment or empowerment. It's about pushing a tired, divisive agenda while pretending to be deep. Spare us the sanctimonious babble, please. We've got better things to do than drown ourselves in your self-righteousness. The tired old needing to see yourself argument. Give me a break. It's like they expect us to believe that black people suddenly forgot what they looked like until Hollywood graciously decided to sprinkle a few token roles their way. Yeah, right. And don't even get me started on the sincerity of it all. We all know those virtue-signaling hypocrites couldn't care less about genuine representation. It's all a ploy to score some woke points and to keep the guilt trip gravy train rolling. But hey, who needs authenticity when you've got an agenda to push, right? Keep telling yourself that, Hollywood. We'll be over here rolling our eyes into oblivion. Contrary to the fairy tales being spun about these self-righteous blowhards, the idea that black people were somehow invisible in Hollywood until the enlightened era of woke white saviors is pure fiction. However, I do believe that is everything for me. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below, and hey, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and share this far and wide. As always, my name is S, and I will see you in the next one. Toodles!